So here is part 5 of the plants that I've acquired within the last year plus. I'm going to start with the two that I have in the kitchen. This first one is my Lucky Bamboo. I repotted this fella, I want to say May, maybe June. I had this plant, this is the oldest plant I have. I got him at 7-Eleven back in college, and I've had this guy for about 4, maybe 5 years now. He's been doing really well. He's got this new shoot, and I don't even know how much he's grown. He's just been a consistent grower. I have him in a light spot that he gets like partial indirect bright light. I thrifted this teapot. I thought it would be really cute having bamboo coming out of a teapot. He's still putting off new growth. He's freaking huge. Yeah, if you're looking for a really easy, low care taking houseplant, I definitely suggest some Lucky Bamboo. Yeah. The second plant that I do have in the kitchen is a plant that I got my mom. This is some sort of echeveria. It looked really different when I got it. It was a lot broader leafed and had a lot more, it was like a ruffled leaf sort of thing. And it had some sort of coral color to the tips of it. And it was doing really well in her bathroom for a while. It got really good indirect bright light all day. It was really warm. It had a skylight in there. It was doing so well that it started to produce a flower, and it flowered and everything, and I cut the flower bloom off. And then it started to kind of go a little south. It looked like it was being kept up in that small little, I had it in a teacup with a saucer, and it wasn't doing so well in that after a while, so I decided to upgrade its pot, and I think by the time I upgraded it, it really lost all its larger leaves, so this is kind of what I'm stuck with. I don't know the variety of succulent it is, but I know I got this back in February. It literally looks like something I could have just bought as like a little cutting, but it's got a wide base. It's doing all right, holding on there. So the rest of the plants I have are in this little corner that gets west, northwest, and direct bright sunlight from above because it's got a skylight. So I'll start with a plant that I actually took from outside this summer. We have this dwarf Chinese maple tree in our backyard, and we've had it for years, and it's gotten so large, and I've always kind of wanted to have a little bit of it inside. And this little fellow was from outside. I took him July. He lasted a good portion of the summer, and I kind of just decided to pot him and have him inside for the rest of the year. So he hasn't really gotten any new growth. If anything, he's gotten like little buds coming off of this top little area here. But besides that, I just kind of water him whenever I water the rest of the plants. He's pretty low maintenance. I put him in a larger pot in hopes that he would grow into it. We'll see. He's still alive, so if that says anything, there you are. I also got this guy, I forget the name of him. I got him at Home Depot, though, and he did not have these top 3 leaves or this new growth coming out. He was kind of like my, indoor Dracaena plant with the roots coming out of the bottom when I got him, which kind of worried me at first, so I immediately transferred him into this larger pitcher that I got at a thrift store. I thought it was really cute, and he actually seems to be loving it. He's put out a lot of new growth. He had a lot of banged up leaves when I got him, but all his new leaves are really pink. They don't really have any bangs on him. He's really enjoying the spot he's got. So I'm just going to keep up with him, keep watering him. I should probably water him because he's looking a little dry on the tips of his lower leaves and whatever he has banged up. But all in all, real easy. Easy as long as you've got some bright indirect light. He does get some direct light as well. But with the changing of the seasons and the direction of the sun, that should be going. But he gets good light all around. So I say put this in a nice well-lit area. Water it as frequently as you would any other houseplant. It should be pretty easy to take care of. I got this hanging plant from Walmart. To be honest, I have no idea what this is. If you have any idea what kind of plant this may be, I'm kind of thinking Hoya, in a sense that it is very viney and waxy. I do need to dust him, but I was really intrigued. I haven't seen anything like this since I've got it or before I got it. He's really putting out a lot of new growth, leaf-wise, and just kind of trailing a lot more vertical now that I have him in a very vertically lit space. He's well lit all around, but he's definitely going towards that skylight that I have. Yeah, I water this guy maybe... I try not to overwater him because I can't really see into him as much because he's very compact. So I try to water him every week and a half-ish. But yeah, he's doing really well, putting out a lot of vertical growth. Not as much like these side tendrils, not so much new growth on those. But I don't know. If you know what he is, let me know, because it truly is a mystery from Walmart. This was like $10. I got this 4 months ago, and he's been just growing. This is another plant I got my mom. This was from Lowe's, and this is the last remaining part of it. It was in kind of like a cluster. There were, I want to say, 3 or 4 other shoots around him, and I didn't really understand how this is a purple passion, I believe. Yeah, purple passion. I'm not even going to try the actual name. But I had no idea how these grew, what their water and light requirements were. So it basically died. All of them except this main shoot died. And I've been watering it a lot more. I'd say a week, every half a week to a week. I've just kind of moistened it. And it's been at, I want to say it doubled in height. It's been doing really well. I mean, you could see with the purple passion, the newer leaves are green, and they have kind of a purplish tint to them. They don't really get purple until they're a little older, and you can tell a lot of the time when it needs to be watered by the tips of the lower leaves being dried out. I've noticed. This guy doesn't really get any direct light, but he gets a lot of bright indirect light where he is. This is my coral aloe that I also got from Lowe's. It had a lot more pink on its lining tips when I initially got him. That's kind of gone away since I've had him. He doesn't get direct light, but he does get bright indirect light throughout the majority of the day. I've got 3 of them in here, and there's not really any noticeable growth with this guy. If anything, I'd say he's a slow grower, but he's consistent. As long as you kind of water him like you would with any aloe or succulent. You don't overwater them. I tend to underwater this guy just because he is in a non-drainage pot, and he is an aloe, so he holds a lot more moisture. So yeah, if anything, I give him a good moistening every, I want to say, a week and a half, 2 weeks. He's pretty chill. He's just kind of like a space filler. I like him. I had him upstairs in the bathroom for a while, but my mom wanted him somewhere to fill the space a little more, so I brought him downstairs. I have a polka dot plant, and I've just kind of been learning as I go with this guy. I've been doing a lot more research on him, I think more so than a lot of my plants. just for the sheer fact that it's just like an exponential grower. He had, I got him because of his color. He had the pink, the red, the white, and it looked really nice and compact, and there were a lot more like spots on him. You could see that like the white's holding up pretty well in there, but a lot of the other leaves, I've trimmed him twice at this point and put the one set of trimmings in here. I'll probably within the next half week or so put the new sets of trimmings in here as well, just to fill them out a little more. And I hear it's good to trim them so that they get a little more bushy, like you could tell where I cut off. But I don't know. I moved him upstairs for a minute because I hear that polka dot plants get more polka dots and color and variegation when they don't get direct light. And this guy was definitely getting some direct light to the point where like his leaves were kind of burning. But I don't know. I moved him back downstairs, if you see that little pink dude in the corner. And he seems to be back to normal. His leaves were kind of yellowing upstairs, so I brought him back downstairs to get some more of that direct light, especially because it's now turning into autumn and we're getting a different angle of the sun. He's not getting so much direct light, so I hope that that helps bring back some color variegation in him. But we'll see. We'll see with the new cuttings that I got from him too when I put him back in here, see how they hold up. But this dude's cool. Just be wary that when the leaves do dry and fall, they literally just fall to the ground. So you'll have a lot of cleanup maintenance with this guy, more so than a lot of my other plants. A lot of my other plants don't really just drop leaves like this guy does. So he reminds me a lot more of like an outdoor seasonal tree for the fact that they just drop them when they're done. But he's cool. I really hope that I get more color back into this bunch because it was so versatile when I got him. This is my first cactus that I bought. I liked him because he looked really different. He had maybe 2 of these, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and counting. He had like 2 of these 6 petals that were going on. I try to moisten this guy every 2 weeks since he is a flatter sort of cactus. He doesn't really hold a lot of moisture compared to a lot of the other cacti that I have. He I find kind of wrinkles a little more on his back and front side than my other cacti, so I can kind of tell then when to water him. He starts to wilt a little more and get a little more vocal about when he needs watering. But he's been holding up pretty well. I don't know if I want to take any cuttings from him. I like him how he is. He's just kind of like a cool little dude. It's like a little high five. Yeah, he's cute. This guy is also from like one of my first hauls that I did this year in January. He really has... I transplanted him twice, I want to say. This is it's a jade. It's a certain kind of jade. It's a Golem's jade. Yeah, or like ogre ear. They call it ogre ear a lot. Yeah, he was getting some new growth in the last pot I had him in, but he outgrew that really, really fast. So I put him in here, and I'm hoping that he kind of bounces back and gets a little more new growth, because I see a lot of the time with these that they can kind of turn into bonsais in a sense, like any kind of jade. They can kind of shape them, and they get more of a trunk like my kiwi that I have. But yeah, so far, not too much growth on that side. And then the next 3 are a bunch of actual propagations of plants that I've showed in previous parts. Like this is the supposed bear's paw or bear's foot. I don't really think it is because it's not fuzzy and it's a lot flatter. But these all started from various leaves, and they've done phenomenally on their own. Now that I know that they need a lot more light, I've had them in a lighter area, and they've really just kind of taken off. I also have some Echeveria parts from my initial Echeveria that is no longer with me. I've just got a bunch of babies that are propagating in here. They've really done well. I just remember when you're propagating to, if you think you're overwatering a propagation, you're probably not, just for the fact that they need a little more frequent watering, because the only water source they have is the leaf that they're feeding off of. So with these guys, I try to err on the side of over watering. This is a little cutting of my topsy-turvy. It's actually started from a little leaf, and it's done so well. This is like a little dollar store candle that I repurposed as a little planter, succulent holder, whatnot. This guy's actually probably doing better than the mother plant. It's got more of a uniform shape because I have it in more light. And then this dude was my crassula that I cut apart because he was dying from the bottom. I overwatered him, then I underwatered him, and I moved him to 3 separate spots. He wasn't really having it. And I really haven't seen much growth from this dude. We'll see. I mean, he's got like little, I don't know, roots coming off of one of the many parts that I cut. We'll see if he starts to grow any height. This dude was doing pretty well, and it was a kind that I really hadn't seen. This was like one of my first plant purchases. But I'm really hoping that he bounces back in some sense. At least some of the cuttings come back. I haven't seen much height, but I should probably water him a little more than I am. And the last little dude, I have no idea what he is, but gosh darn, he's cute. I got him a couple days ago. There were a couple different versions of him with like flowers and whatnot, and as appealing as those were, I try to not get ones that are already flowering in the shop, because then, I don't know, I don't really trust it. I'm like, what do I have left once I bring it back? If anyone knows what this is, let me know, because I'm really intrigued. It's got, that kind of spiky cactus sort of vibe, but it also looks like a palm tree. It looks very prehistoric. And apparently it blooms. I'm not going to repot this for a while, or until I feel comfortable with it in my new setting. But, yeah, I'm learning with this dude. He looks pretty cool. Something different for me, because I'm not a really prickly plant guy, but yeah, we'll see what he brings. I haven't watered him yet. I'm scared to. So if anyone knows what to do with this little fella, let me know, because I'd be happy to not kill him.